What's good, groovy people? I go by Wilds. Folks around the way, around here, around these local parts in Tempe, Arizona, refer to me as Wild, but my official artist name or stage name or whatever the fuck you want to call it is Wild the Bard. But I personally don't care too much because, I'm not really trying to be too attached to a name, and I'm not really too into labels and all that. But anyway, I'm Wild. That's a hell of a first impression for those of you that are just like scrolling your YouTube feed and like, who the fuck is this guy? Well, yeah, I'm Wild. Nice to meet you. Peace, love, unity, respect. Some people know me as that fucking crazy hippie guy that's all about good vibes. It's all about that bass, all about them vibrations from that music festival head, whatever you want to call me. But I'm just fucking glad to be here. First of all, before I even get into this, I just want to say shout out to everybody that's been showing me love so far. I see you, even if I don't know you directly. These are some weird fucking times, and we're just making the best out of them, yo. We're just doing our best to take care of ourselves, to nurture ourselves, to love ourselves, while also doing our best to be a good neighbor and be a good community member and look out for our fellow humans, you know what I'm saying? And I just say that because that's really the spirit of these times that I'm feeling. It's all about just showing that love. Enough of this fear, enough of this hate. Everybody's struggling. Everybody doesn't really know what the next day is going to bring. So the least that we can do as individual humans is just be kind to one another and just love more. And that's my public service announcement. And I went on a mini fucking tangent just to say that I totally respect the love that I got when I just posted the first of hopefully many installments of this little thing that me and my homie J God, aka Josh Crowder, shout out to him. We have this thing called Street Spirituals where we go around and pretty much walk these streets over here in Tempe, AZ, and we, my boy Josh brings his fucking Bluetooth speaker, and we just spit some flows, spit some freestyle ciphers, while also just spreading love, spitting some of that gospel, some of that truth, just some of that love from the soul. And when I say gospel, that kind of is a perfect segue into what I kind of wanted to talk about in this video. I ain't talking about gospel in the sense of Christianity per se or any particular religion, but when I say gospel, I think I'm not sure about this, but if you were to look up the word gospel in the dictionary or whatever, I'm pretty sure gospel just has to do with spiritual truth. I'm totally paraphrasing. I don't know if that's really what it means, but that's what I think it means. But totally look it up and tell me what gospel means, if that's what it means, or if it means anything close to it. Feel free to comment below. And at the end of the day, it could totally not mean that because I'm not an expert at shit. But this is just what I thought that I could remember that gospel meant. But anyway, I say that because the whole spiel of this video, right, is about it's talking about uncertainty and shit. And to me, what I keep feeling like I'm meditating on and praying on and reflecting on is this whole concept of bringing it back to God. And when I say bring it back to God, I'm not talking about anything, like I said earlier, that's necessary religious. But at the same time, if you do have a particular religious faith or particular religious doctrine that you follow, right on, there's no right or wrong answer. We're all honestly headed towards the same place. We're all on this earth plane, on this earth school, if you will, to learn lessons. That's why I'm an ASU right now, and I may not even actually graduate, and that's okay, because the bigger fucking picture is we're here as humans in these bodies to learn through life experiences. And that's what it's about. So all of you got people out there, if you didn't even finish high school, or if you didn't finish college, or if you didn't finish school at all, it's okay, because this is the big school. It's this earth plane. And that's not knocking anybody that has a degree, right on. But the funny thing is, we see where we are right now in society. What good is a degree right now? If you're really talking about it, you know what I mean? So it's all about using this uncertainty to really bring it back to what's important, to what we really value in life. And for me, this was I am, or whatever you want to call it, a master's student at ASU. And I didn't really give too many fucks about it, honestly, because it was one of those things that I was kind of pressured and, pushed to do by society, my parents, which I totally respect and all that. But now with all this crazy shutdown of society and everything, it's made me really reflect and really contemplate deeply on okay, well, what do I really value? What do I hold very near and dear to my heart. And after I reflected on it, I don't really care too much about a degree. I don't care about formal school, you know? This is all remnants of my parents and of the older generation of what they thought was the best life. But we see that a degree and all this shit really it only goes a certain amount of way, in my opinion. Like, some people, a degree may be for you, and that's cool and that's groovy. But as for me, just bringing it back, you know, I tend to go on tangents here. It's all about bringing it back to God. And for me, it's like, humans, we have lived so long, for so many centuries, so many generations, into these programs, into these mental conceptions of these laws that we made up, that were made up by God, right? Oh, not by God, excuse me, but by like man. And the only laws that are really out there that we really, I think, should be following are the laws of God. And those laws of God are like to love each other, to respect the earth, to be in harmony with the earth and all creation, to love each other, to not do wrong by each other, and to just really be sustainable and harmonious with the planet that we live on. Like, to me, that's the cut and dry of like the instructions from God and the laws of God. You know, and long story short, we kind of got it fucked up as humans because we took that message of God and distorted it to our own egoic, manipulative understanding. You know, I'm just kind of saying words here. I don't know if they're really words, but you get what I'm saying. So what I think this whole virus that we're seeing and this whole collapse of conventional society or modern society that we seemingly are witnessing is a direct result from historically our ancestors, and just as humans, we are agreeing to lead these lives that are not that of the rules and laws of God. And I know some people are like, well, what the fuck? And, you know, I'm no expert, but this is just what I've been getting from my heart and when I felt, you know, to share or whatever. And if you feel similar, please comment. Like, there's no right or wrong. This is a time to really embrace each other's experiences, to embrace each other's humanity, because there's no right or wrong interpretation. So by all means, please comment below. I would love to hear what you think of what I said and what your perception on everything is. And, you know, when I talk about bringing it back to God, to me, like, we are all bits of God. And when I say God, I don't see like a man as God. Like, I see like that divine spark, that big bang or whatever, that big cosmic boom that created all life as we know it. That is what I see as God. And because I'm life, because you're life, because the plants and the dogs and the fucking cats and everything that's living and breathing is life, we are all one. We are all parts of that original spark of creation, that bang or whatever it was. Some people call it goddess because that does make sense. I mean, it's that primal, urge of the woman, or the primal capacity of the woman to give birth, right? So many people do refer to God as goddess, as this feminine thing. But for me, in my interpretation anyway, I see it as this androgynous, this blend of female and masculine, because at the end of the day, I think this whole concept of gender and this concept of man and woman and male and female was initially created by humans over time. And it's not good or bad, it's not right or wrong, but it just is what it is. So I think from like a pure perspective of the soul, and if we just talk about consciousness and of God, and to me, that's really what God is. It's just consciousness, is that all-knowing everything, just consciousness, that everything that is, like everything that ever was. I don't really know how else to fucking put it. It's very trippy. But if that's God, consciousness and just all-knowing, then by definition and common sense, it makes sense that it wouldn't be just a female energy or a masculine energy. It is everything all in one, and it has no label. It has no limitations. It's just this omnipotent force of pure energy that can't be further created or destroyed. It just is further transferred from one source to another, through me, through you, through these words, through our actions. So that's what bringing to God is about. So with that overstanding, with that knowledge or that insight of what I just said, and my interpretation of that, is doing our best in each moment, in each action, with our thoughts and everything that we do, to really live up to that, to really embody that consciousness of creation, of love, of just pure acceptance. So if this concept of God is just consciousness, is just all-knowing, is free of judgment, is just creation and just fluid love, then if we are expressions of that in these bodies, then we owe it to ourselves to be that way. To not be so judgmental, to not be so quick. I'm so jumbling up my words here. To not be so quick to judge. to not live in fear, to not be so quick to just label things as black or white or this or that. If we really are God, and if we really are reflections of God and children of God, then why won't we start acting like it? And I know all of us, we have to deal with the cards that we're dealt with, and a lot of us are struggling right now, but let's use these dark times, these seemingly dark times, to really tap into our God selves, to tap into our goddess selves. God, goddess, I'm using them interchangeable here because, again, they're all one. So it's whatever you want to call them. Jah, Allah, God, Jehovah, like it's all of that primal consciousness, that source of creation. So no matter what someone believes or doesn't believe, we're all searching for that same thing. We're all searching to bring it back to a purpose, because when we bring it back to God, when we bring it back to that consciousness of creation, we're reminded that we are here for a purpose. We're not just here to take up space. We're not just here to yell at each other and to bitch at each other and to be mad at everything. We're here to grow and to learn on this beautiful earth school. And when we start seeing things like that, things don't seem as crazy and as dark and as heavy, and we can start lightening up and start just really enjoying this experience of life. And we know that once we're done, inevitably here, because at some point we will be done, we will leave these bodies, we'll just learn more lessons. And that consciousness, that spirit, that energy, it can't be created or destroyed. So we are that energy just experiencing these things in these bodies. So once our bodies are capped and once they're out of this world, we're just going to move on to new experiences. And one of the reasons that we only remember, we're only aware and conscious of our experience maybe right now, is because this is what we have right now. Like we contracted to be on earth where we don't remember too much, but it's through each experience, it's through these things that are happening in the world, it's through these things that happen to our hearts, and through the pain, through the struggle, that we remember that we are God, Goddess, consciousness, Jah, we are love, we are creation. So I think that's about enough for this video, but I'm going to be doing more videos, and this is just kind of the tidbit of where I'm at mentally and in my heart and what I felt like I wanted to share with you. It's bringing it back to God, baby. And just know that you're more powerful than you were ever told, than you could ever imagine. And in these uncertain, fucked up times, we're claiming our God, Goddess birthright. Our birthright to be divine, our birthright to create, our birthright to just be fucking cosmic and awesome. Like, we are love. We're meant to love and be loved. And things are just going to go up from here. Things are just going to get better from here. So thank you so much for being you, for tuning in. And please comment below. I want to know where y'all are from. I want to know what's on your mind. I want to know what you're experiencing, what you're feeling right now, what you're thinking, what you're expressing. And please, if you make music, if you make poetry, if you create anything, drop some links down, because I got some mixtapes I'm working on. I do music, and this is the time to just create and just share that creation with each other. So yo, thank you so much for being you. Peace, love, unity, and respect. And I'll be back on with some more videos here in the very foreseeable future. Yeah.